All right, welcome back to Not Weird, Just Homeschooled. My name is Gheramy and Patrick, the host of the show. We've been on a bit of a hiatus for the last few months, and that's on me. I've been just super busy with a bunch of different projects. But I'm going to release all these episodes all at once. This way you can just listen to them at your leisure and at whatever pace you want to listen to. Now, there might be parts in the episode where, it sounds like we don't know what we're talking about because, the election's already happened and everything, and it hasn't happened when we recorded these episodes. So it's not that we're uninformed. It's that we don't know yet. So, and they were filmed a bunch of time, a long time ago. So, if you've already heard this portion, you can go ahead and fast forward through it in the future episodes, because I'm just going to add the same thing to every single start of each episode. So as like a little bit of a disclaimer, enjoy it. My name's Gheramy and Patrick again, and enjoy the episodes. Produce this thing would be way too chatty, and you're like, just let me have this conversation. Where that one lady, she was great. Like she got into the conversation, but she contributed to it.
Yeah.
She didn't try and derail anything.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Where'd she go?
She's still around. I've been just kind of like flying by the seat of my pants lately, so I didn't want to like last minute bother her.
I get that.
I guess that.
What were you in town for?
No reason.
Chicken, hanging out, see your mom?
See my family, see my mom, see my friends.
That's cool.
Yeah, I usually come back like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then one time in the summer at least.
Where did you move? I say this every time you come back. Where did you move to again? Denver.
Yeah.
Every time I think it's Seattle. I don't know why.
No way. I think that was like on my list, when I was sitting there reading articles and like watching like top 10 places to move in 2020 or whatever before the pandemic and stuff. And that was on there. I think there was a time I probably saw a video where I saw someone throwing, a giant salmon at the fish market. And I'm like, I probably could do that, every weekend and stuff. But now that I've been able to visit that place, I'm like, I don't think that's quite for me. I think I'm more of a down south, East Coast guy.
Down south?
Down south, man.
Really?
Deep state.
Deep state?
Yeah, that's for me, man.
I hate the South.
I understand a lot of people say that. Why do you hate why do you hate the South so much? What did they do to you?
Where to begin?
Yeah.
Just the twang, like a hillbilly twang, and then like some places I'm like, they're not even hiding that they're racist.
Yeah. I feel safer that way.
I guess you have a valid point.
At least I know you're not just like trying to set me up.
Right.
I'd rather like, no, I'm not welcome. So I'm like, I'm about to fight you. Like I'm gonna just stay over in Dallas.
Brandon and I, when we were on a road trip, we were in Alabama. Is that the place where they do the Roll Tide? Is that Alabama?
I think so.
She just kept saying that, and she kept calling her black friend the N-word.
with the ER or with the A?
ER.
Oh, well, that's
hard R.
It's kind of.
He seemed fine with it, but I'm like, this is crazy, dude. Like,
did you speak up for him as an ally?
No, not my place. I just wanted to get the fuck out of there.
Huh.
And that lady was so creepy and weird. And then like I was trying to like without saying it to Miranda, like we should leave without saying it that way.
Give her signs.
Yeah. Like, oh man, It's getting kind of late.
Like, it's 8 p.m., dear. What do you mean? You're like, yeah, but I mean,
We got other things to see.
like what?
We should go meet up with
A lot.
We should go meet up with our friends at another place.
Like out of the state.
Yeah. What are you talking about? We don't know anybody around here.
Well, I'm glad you got our back. You know what I mean? I'm glad you got our back.
I was fleeing the scene, like getting your back.
They don't have what's it called? It's, I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. Roll Tide. I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. That's what they say.
She just kept saying "Roll Tide" so loud. Roll Tide.
I even feel weird about people who are really big college football fans. I love sports. I love all competition. But it's like I didn't go to that school.
Right. Yeah,
and it's like those are kids, right? So I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it.
They're only 1 or 2 years away from being from high school.
That's what I'm saying.
It is weird now that I think of it. If you're like a grown ass person, you're just into a college.
Yeah.
It is odd.
Like out here, there's a whole bunch of these are the worst people to me. The Ohio State, Pittsburgh Steelers fans. It's a whole bunch of those, and it's like, damn, like, you're 50 and you didn't even graduate from Tri-C, but you're the biggest Ohio State fan I've ever met in my life.
What's funny? I was just in Rochester, New York, and oof indeed, but it was for a great headliner, and he was the best dude ever. But I noticed there was a lot of Pittsburgh Pirates fans
in Rochester,
New York. It was really odd, and I asked a guy about it. People from Rochester, New York aren't the friendliest.
No, that's a crazy place.
They're just like they're not mean. They just don't want to talk to you.
Right.
So
isn't that kind of the New York vibe in a sense? Kind of like get out of my way. The subway stinks.
I didn't expect that in Rochester, New York.
Yeah.
Like, this is New York City. We're probably
way up, right?
Yeah, we're like 10 hours away from New York City. Or not 10 hours. That's crazy. Yeah, we're like at least 2 or 3 hours outside the city. And it was like it was super weird. Like, so the guy was just like, yeah, I guess there is. And that was the whole conversation. I could not get anybody to talk to me.
Isn't that like normal for you?
Not getting people to talk to me? No, I usually have the opposite problem where I'm trying to get them not to talk to me.
That's true. You did just pick me up and people were saying hi already. So yeah.
Or like me awkwardly waving across a room to somebody who can't see me.
Oh, they saw you all right.
You think she saw me?
I think so.
I thought she saw me too. Okay,
I think so.
I'm not crazy.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think she saw me too. I was like, I'm getting snubbed right now.
Maybe she was like stoned. It's weird. Like,
She's at
someone
work. I mean,
at a restaurant.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is true.
I know you. I know you've graduated from working at restaurants. And you're better than all of us now.
That is not true. I changed one hat for another. It's basically the same job. Just I sell the beer to bar managers who then sell it to the patrons. So I'm like, one person away.
You're the plug, man. You're the beer plug now.
Sure. I can't plug anything.
If it was Prohibition days, you'd be the man.
Man, that would be awesome. Like, what was the name of that show? With
Peaky Blinders?
No. Was that during Prohibition?
I don't know. I'm really bad with shows. Sorry. I'm just trying.
Boardwalk Empire.
Okay, I know I've heard the name, but I haven't seen it.
It's Steve Buscemi, and it's during
Great actor.
He's in Atlantic City during the Prohibition, and he is like a gangster who runs that town. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I love that actor. The big bug eyes. And yeah, man.
Yeah, what was it? Nucky Thompson was the name of the character.
Nucky Thompson.
Nucky Thompson.
If that's not a gangster's name, then I don't know.
Yeah. He wore like nice suits, and he was like one of those I run this town type, and get people murdered.
Yeah. Don't raise your hand to me. Better stay in line type of guy.
Got a few bitches on the side, that kind of type.
Couple mistresses.
Yeah. Can't tie a man down.
Yeah. I mean, Buscemi's a real looker too, so
real ladies,
makes sense.
Well, that's what made that character believe. It's like, oh, it's because he's rich.
Oh yeah.
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 He's the richest man in town. He was
One day.
actually his character in the first season is the Atlantic City treasurer. So he takes care of all the money. He's a money man.
That's gonna be us one of these days, sir. It's coming.
Maybe you, not me.
It's coming, man.
Whatever city puts me in charge of their money is a irresponsible city.
Yeah.
I don't even handle my own money.
Maybe maybe Rochester.
Yeah, maybe
Or Buffalo, right? Where else
They
is
don't
up
care. Yeah, Buffalo's too drunk to notice, and Rochester is too stuck up to care.
there? I had a old manager out in Colorado where I'm at now, and he was from Rochester. He was quite the character.
Was he
Quite the
standoffish?
No, he's very sociable, but in comparison to Cleveland, or even the Midwest in general, Colorado is very I don't want to say standoffish, but very low key, low maintenance. Like nobody wants to have a tiff with each other. They'd rather just kind of be quiet. People keep to themselves and stuff like that. More passive, you could say. And so, being from Rochester or from New York anyway, that's the total opposite, So, he's an interesting guy. He was he would we have a piano in our restaurant and stuff, and he'll go play the piano for people's birthdays, and he's drinking and singing for people and stuff, and that's not very common in Colorado, at least in my experience. And I've been hanging out, so
Yeah, you've been there for a minute now. How long have you lived there?
4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
That went quick. 4 years? Feels like you just moved there.
I know, dude.
So, what made you choose Colorado?
My ex.
Oh.
Yeah. It was always going to be a stopgap. It was just, she went to Case. And so when she was living out here, I met her. And then she moved out back that way. And I'm like, when I'm off of papers, I'll come and see you. And then I moved out there. And then we were going to move down south. But we ended up breaking up. Great person. But so it's just a stopgap for now. I just kind of hung out there a little longer than I expected. Yeah.
Now, what do you feel like what do you think the next move is?
Probably Fort Worth, Dallas area.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Fort Worth?
Fort Worth.
Wow. Yeah. I did not expect that answer.
Oh, yeah.
I've been to Fort Worth. It's a interesting place.
It's up and coming. People moving down there.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to try to move in between. If Dallas is here and Fort Worth is here, there's space in between. It's Arlington right here. So I'm going to just try to find some comfy burb area where it's quiet and stuff. And then it'll be a lot easier for me to there's just more people working on music and stuff down there in comparison to Colorado. Colorado's all about it's all about venues. It doesn't really pump out artists. It's all about going on the Red Rocks and EDM shows and go to the Grizzly Rose and country shows and stuff like that. And that's fun, but there's always going to be an artist to interview and stuff like that. But they don't really. I mean, can you name anybody out that yeah, exactly. So
I can't even think of a comic right now.
Yeah. Oh my God, the Gringo Poppy dude.
Gringo Poppy.
Gringo Poppy. He's one of Joe Rogan's boys. He's not funny at all. Brendan Schwab.
Oh, he's from
Denver.
He's from Denver. That's funny.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you though. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
but Denver does have a really good comedy scene.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell
really
yeah,
does.
that's awesome.
It's easy to find open mics and stuff like that going on.
That's great. How many an evening do you think? Or how many?
I mean, I don't know if I could put a number to it, but I know I was very surprised when I moved there to see how much motion they had but every night you could definitely find something.
That's awesome.
Every night.
You could not do that in Rochester, New York.
No, it's hard to survive.
When I heard I was going up at least twice, if not you can go up twice a night in Cleveland. They were like, "What the fuck?" You're we're lucky to get up twice a week. I'm like, that's crazy. And comics didn't hang out. As soon as the show was over, they bolted.
They just did.
The audience did the same thing. Audiences were great. The audiences were amazing.
Okay.
Every show was so much fun, but they did not hang out. It was so weird.
I had to get home before it got too late.
Yeah, apparently. Who knew?
I know some crazy rappers from Rochester. These guys are psychos.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, super thugged out.
I bet.
I think they're trying to overcompensate because they're not from the city,
That and like Rochester's not a
and it's very poor. Yeah.
It's not even that. It's just
No?
like it's actually kind of it's more of like college, like nice. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah?
Yeah, there's like a campus there, and the only thing is there's nowhere like there's hardly any late night food. So I had to go like it was like 10 o'clock, and I had to go to like a hotel restaurant. It was the only thing that was open. Yeah.
That's not cool.
No.
That's like that in Colorado too. Well, at least where I stay anyway, everything closes at like. There's like maybe 2 bars that stay open like at bar close, but everything else closes at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, maybe 12 at the latest.
Their
Like,
bar closes 1:30.
yeah, it's better. It's better than Colorado. Well,
Really?
the part I'm in, yeah.
What time do the bars close?
So I'm in a town called Thornton, and it's like 20 minutes, 25 minutes north of Denver. So it's like a quiet little burb town and stuff. So you could find some like dive bars that probably stay open, but not many, man. It's not.
Weird.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's odd to me that there's like towns with no bar activity. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
It's
even
peaceful.
that I don't drink. Like I'm in bars all day, every day. I'm around it constantly, whether it be through work or stand up.
Mm-hmm.
So and I basically grew up around or going to bars all the time. So it's like my whole life is like in a bar for the most part. So it's weird to me when you don't see like like at least like 4 or 5 open bars or like people out. And
Oh, yeah. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's like, what do you want? Do you want all the opportunity to go out and to like have fun and then whatever comes with that? Or do you want to live in like a more peaceful, quiet place and then maybe not, have as many opportunities to go out all the time on a whim or something like that, So I've definitely enjoyed like the peace and quiet and stuff. And,
that's cool.
pretty much like the only black guy in my neighborhood and stuff, and I'm only fucking half, so I'm just like waving at my neighbors and stuff. I'm like, hey, everything's
You're
good
providing
over
the
here.
diversity.
Yeah, I am like the DEI hire of like Thornton, pretty much. I have a lot of like Mexican homies though.
You're like,
Close enough.
what do you feel like you bring to the table when it comes to this company? You're like the bare minimum of diversity.
Me,
I meet your standards.
can give you some playlists, some hip hop playlists and stuff like that, and I can show you how to season your food.
Hell
That's
yeah.
all you need.
Like I don't know. It's just strange to be in places that like are standoffish, don't have bars that stay open later. Like, but it seems like Colorado has more of like the LA kind of. We're not going to tell you how it is. We're just going to be very passive about it.
Yeah.
We'll never say like no to anything. We'll just be like, oh, we'll think about that, or they'll figure some way to deflect.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing I hate about Los Angeles. I fucking hate that about people in Los Angeles. They're the worst.
Yeah, but I am not a West Coast guy. It's fun to visit and stuff like that, but and I can make it anywhere, but it's not my vibe. Very passive aggressive, very like just like very money oriented, like just, a lot of like classism, I guess you could call it that. It's very segregated, And so even when I come back here and stuff, I'm just like, everyone's like mixing together. Like, I forgot this is what it like regular life's like for me, and like,
wow, it's that white, huh?
it's white and Mexican. If you want to see anyone else, you have to go downtown, or you can go to like Aurora, which is like the east side of Denver and stuff. Like that's where like the black people live and stuff. And downtown's pretty mixed up. But that's pretty much white Mexicans, some Asians, a lot of like Vietnamese. That's about it, bro.
Who's their bone thugs?
They're both again, like we were saying earlier. I can't name, but okay, I can name drop some rappers that are coming up a little bit. There's a guy named 100 Pack Savvy. He's pretty good. There's a guy named they call him AP. He's a really good rapper. he's like our age, you know. So he's like from like end of the 90s like mixtape era where you actually had to like kind of be good at rapping instead of just saying whatever now. There's a dude named Trev Rich, and I think he's signed to Cash Money, just like Lil Wayne and like Birdman and stuff. And there's some other artists I like too, like Naya Renee. She's cool. And
Wait, Birdman, the basketball player?
No, not him. I actually served on him at Melt.
Really?
Yeah, he came in with these like, you know, the glasses you get after you get like your eyes like dilated or like LASIK or something.
Yeah.
He had some goofy glasses like that on. Like I'm not gonna see. He's 7 foot and he's tatted up, white dude. Like, come on now. He was funny though. So
That's cool.
yeah, and a couple other artists too. They're decent out there, but not many, man. They're not really pumping out many.
Have you like gotten pretty like good at like getting into their scene?
Mm-hmm.
Has it been like very like warm and like accepting of new people?
Yeah. I don't know exactly because when you were in bands, what would you say? That's like punk you guys were making? Punk rock?
Punk metal. Yeah, because when we would play metal shows, we were the weird punk band.
Yeah.
And when we played punk shows, we were the weird metal band.
Okay.
So somewhere in between.
Well, I bet you have some experience when you were to leave town, that like strange welcoming you get. Maybe just in my experience, but like out of town, like everyone's just fucking with me. Like I don't have to. There's no like politics or anything because it's a new face. It's not, someone you sat with in third grade trying to like come up and you're like, oh, you're not like that when you're talking about rapping or like your lyrics or something. It's not. There's none of that animosity. There's no jealousy. It's just some other guy doing interviews, and so
yeah, there's no like preset notion of who you are. Or...
No secret competition.
Right.
Nothing like that. It's just been easy going. Like I'm already plugged in with pretty much the biggest guys out there, which, the scene isn't very big. So that's not saying as much if I was like, oh yeah, I'm in Texas or in LA and I'm plugged in with all the guys. But they've been very welcoming. I've already interviewed like the biggest like hip hop platform out there. It's called Mile High Minute. Oh yeah, and then I was able to interview him on his own platform and stuff. So I have like a little box on his, so I have like some real estate on him.
That's awesome.
No one gave a fuck, but it's like a milestone for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, what do you feel like your goals are in Denver? Like what I guess you kind of moved there for an ex or what, or like for a girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
But did you have like any kind of like, oh, I'm gonna do these, 3? Like, what were your goals for moving there?
I think I met those goals already. I was just trying to get out of town interviews, because most of my stuff was in Cleveland or surrounding suburbs and stuff like that. Just trying to see if I could do it somewhere else too and be able to politic correctly, and I've been able to do that. I still have a couple guys I still want to interview. But actually those people that I mentioned earlier, I definitely want to interview them still. And I DM people and I bother them a bunch and they're like, yeah, I'll do it. And you know how it goes. Like you just do it whenever like you feel like doing it. Eventually it happens. Like artists will say yes, but then that day they might not want to do it. And then
I don't know. I feel like, do you think it's easier to connect with artists in other cities outside of Cleveland, or do you feel like it was like easier in Cleveland?
I think it's probably a little easier. The process of getting the interview, I feel, has been just as easy in both places. But all the stuff after it has been way easier in Denver. Like when I was out here, once I hit like 50 or so, I started getting like popular when it came to that. And yeah, I didn't get that many views and stuff, but the way I edit stuff is so jank and so underground. I'm putting it out like on SoundCloud. Like I'm not even using Anchor or anything. I'm not putting it on anything. But it was giving me like clout in the street and stuff. And so it gets to the point where people are like, people get locked up. They call me from jail. Like people asking me for like advice and money. Like I've had rappers would get like beat up like at the club and like hide at my place and stuff and like just hooking me up and just like stuff like that. and that was kind of stressing me out a little bit.
Really?
But, yeah, I don't know. I like attention, but in certain ways.
Yeah.
So
But when it comes with riffraff, in a sense.
yeah, and then it's a little, in my hometown too, so I have to like deal with it,
Yeah.
But out of town, it's like there's some kind of drama. If I go back and forth with some kind of rapper or something, it's like I'm not even from here, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you won't even be able to find me. Like, it's not even a big
I'm going to
deal.
leave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm moving anyway,
Yeah.
and you suck, so I really don't care. I don't feel like I owe them the same amount of like grace as I do somebody from like my area code.
Do you feel like do you see a lot of similarities between like your current neighborhood and the neighborhood you grew up in?
No.
In what ways are they different?
Well, I grew up in Lakewood, Tremont, and Oberlin, and all those places are very like, just like diverse,
Inclusive and
Yeah, like when I was coming up in Lakewood, like there wasn't that many black kids, but there was enough, and there was a bunch of Arabic, bunch of Lebanese, white, Jewish, pretty much everything, and then same thing in Tremont, and then Oberlin was definitely more black people there, but still very diverse and stuff like that. So that's what I'm used to, and then out here it's just kind of like. And I don't mind. Like I got my friends at the Dog and my friends at Osley and stuff, and they're pretty much just white and Mexican for the most part. But there's a couple other people in there, but they're all very kind. But as far as like it's different, And the food out here is way better. The food in Colorado is terrible, bro.
really?
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's not part of their culture.
I guess so.
I had to get over just going around and like telling everybody their food shit, Like this is probably not a good idea. I need to like shut my mouth,
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Because
so
I
bad.
mean, there's been people who have moved. Actually, I think they were from Colorado. They moved here and then they started talking shit about the coffee.
Here?
Yeah, they're like, oh, there's no good coffee shops around here, so we decided to open up our own. And the community went like, fuck you.
Yeah.
To a point of like they've never opened.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I don't think so.
You shouldn't probably start off your like introduction to a community by shit talking the community.
Yeah, not in the Midwest either, because people will say something back to you.
Oh, dude,
I thought we had good coffee out here, in my opinion.
I thought so too, but apparently, according to these two people, there's no good coffee shops.
I don't know where they're from. Maybe they're from like Boulder or something. I don't know. Like
I can't remember where they were from. I know it was like Denver or something like that, or maybe it was Portland. I don't know.
Okay.
Something along those lines.
Yeah,
like,
Mountain West type.
They're like just pretentious and like I don't know. And they had like this. They wanted to do like a vintage shop / coffee shop. It's like there's already like 9 of those.
Yeah.
You don't need another one.
No.
It's not like it's like you thought you came up with like an original concept, but you just didn't do enough research into the city you moved to.
Yeah. Like we have drip coffee.
There has been a lot.
Ooh.
There's like a lot. There's been a pretty weird migration to Cleveland as of late that I just don't understand at all. Like I financially I get it,
Mm-hmm.
but if you could afford to live somewhere with a little bit more going on for itself than Cleveland, why wouldn't you like pay a little extra and then have a community you feel like there's something to do?
Yeah, I mean, well, have you lived anywhere else? Like,
I've not lived anywhere else.
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of places.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's
very
different.
It's very different. And like, I don't know. Most of the places I've been to are really only for like an evening, maybe 2.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. As far as my experience, it's like, even when I visited Denver before I lived there, like when I was visiting, I'm like, oh man, I think I could live here. Like, this is awesome. The weather's great and whatever. Going to the Rockies games and whatever, the Denver Nuggets games and stuff. But then when I actually started living there, I was like, this isn't really, and it's not, I'm definitely not going to just move home. But I definitely feel like I've taken a lot of things for granted being somewhere else. I think, it's Cleveland, so it's easy to be down in the dumps, cloudy and stuff a lot. And, our winters are fucking crazy and stuff. But people were realizing, like, this is like a dope place. How many people have we met from other states who love it here? And we, like you just said, like we even question it. We're like, why? Like,
Yeah, like what?
you know?
Yeah, there's been a weird like migration here from different cities, and I like it baffled me. Like I've had cousins who've moved here from LA, and she loves it here.
Yeah.
Or like my wife hired a person from Hawaii.
Really?
Who moved here from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Like one of the most beautiful places in the world, and was like loves it in Cleveland.
I heard it's kind of rough living there. Like actually living there.
Yeah, because it's very touristy.
Yeah.
The only jobs are like with like hotels or bars and things like that.
Yeah.
Though she was a very accomplished bartender. Like her resume was very impressive. That's why they hired her.
Yeah.
They hired her when they didn't even really need her for really like.
Yeah.
So she started off with only a couple days a week, but now she's doing a lot more and she's good at her job. She's a very nice lady.
Good.
And her boyfriend's very cool, which is nice. Him and I actually have a lot in common when it comes to like how we grew up with like the religious trauma and shit.
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah, man.
it's kind of nice meeting somebody else like that. We're like, oh, I can relate to some of these stories.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I am very hard on Cleveland. Like, recently, there was some people up from Cincinnati, and that guy was like, "This place is the greatest." Like,
Since Kentucky.
yeah, it was really funny watching him just like kind of geek out over Cleveland because there was like he's like, "There's just so many places to sell beer around here,"
That's true.
and I was
That's
like,
true.
I never even thought of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sometimes I feel like Cleveland has a lot of hubris though for how little opportunity he has.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I would bet a large amount of money that if you were to move somewhere else, that's not in the Midwest, that you would start to see a lot of the things that we do have here.
I mean,
You know.
Rochester made me thankful for Cleveland. It really did.
Yeah.
Because I showed up on a Thursday night. I got in like at around like 6 or 7, and I'm like, "Where's the mic? Where are we going?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm texting some of the local comics like, "Where's the mic at? Like, what's I want to work on."
We only got 2.
They're like, "We only have 2, and they happen
Yeah.
Tuesday and Wednesday."
Yeah. We closed at 10:30, so
Right. I was like, "All right, well, I'll just get myself into the Airbnb and get like settled in." And by that time, it was like 9:30, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm fucking hungry as shit. Where's there to eat?"
nothing.
Nothing's open.
Nothing.
I will say the hotel bar that I went to, the food was actually very good.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Not in Colorado. Food's terrible.
Food's terrible
It's
everywhere.
garbage. It's garbage. You can say obviously you can find something. Okay. I'll give them credit. You can find good beer out there, which I feel like that's probably everywhere nowadays. Sure. You can find decent Mexican food, but it's not like Texas and it's not like LA. And then you can find a lot of good pho. And then you can find a really good sandwich too. So a lot of good sandwich places out there. But that's it, dog. That is it.
Wild.
And I'm a foodie.
You ever go to St. Louis?
No, I haven't been to St. Louis.
St. Louis' food scene is insane.
I believe it.
Their restaurant scene's nuts. And I don't know, it's some of the best service I've ever had in any state or place. Like, we went to this place and we had a server. We ordered our food. He didn't write any of it down. Remembered all of it. All of it. He remembered everything. And then we came back the next day, had the same server, and remembered exactly what we ordered from the night before.
Oh, it's got that steel trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys. It was fucking crazy. It was like one of the best servers I've ever had.
If I have a table with over 3 people, I gotta write it down. I'm like, what? Coke or Sprite?
And even then, there's a strong chance I might forget.
Yeah. I might write it so poorly that I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. What the hell did I write?
Yeah, this chicken scratch.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to go to St. Louis. Man.
What kind of restaurant do you work at?
So I manage a Italian restaurant.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. Colorado fancy.
Nice.
Colorado fancy.
You're a manager?
Mm-hmm.
How is that going?
It's pretty easy. It's like a smaller place, so it's not like we have like 12 people, 10 people in the front, you know, and most of them have like it's a small like community out there, so they've known each other for so long, so like they already have chemistry and stuff, and like they're really kind. I mean, they invite me over to get drunk all the time, and like there's so many like rich people out there. They're like have like these like Porsches and stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, like, cause they know I like do stuff with musicians. Like, oh yeah, if you want to like borrow the Porsche or whatever, you can. And I'm just like,
What?
oh, all right, like, okay,
Hell
yeah, stuff like that, and just like a lot of them like offer me loans and stuff all the time. I'm just like, I'm okay, like I'm all right, I'm doing
So
fine.
weird.
Yeah, it's totally different out there, bro. It's totally different.
Yeah, you would not get that kind of treatment if somebody owns a
No.
Porsche in Cleveland. Like, don't get too close to
Yeah,
that Porsche.
you wouldn't even see them.
Yeah, right.
They'd be like parked in Pepper Pike or something.
Right. Yeah. Like they'll drive past you. Like,
Yeah.
That's the closest you're gonna get to that Porsche.
Spit at you on
Yeah.
the way over.
Though I have seen a lot of Porsches lately, so maybe that's a bad example. But Mercedes Benz is another one.
Just
like,
cars I can't afford, like luxury vehicles
Right.
that like I would be nervous to drive.
or just like they wouldn't want you to be anywhere like close to it. Like
Yeah.
you got within 5 feet, they're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you're breathing on it."
Yeah, like they won't even valet this shit out there. They'll just park it.
Right.
Yeah, they don't care.
Oh,
It's like old money. Like old money. Not new money, like old money. Like
Any mob out there? I wonder if they had any mob.
I didn't meet him yet.
It'd be weird. I mean, that's one thing I can't say about Cleveland is that definitely we had deep roots in the mob.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot of mob connect. It was like Cleveland was like where they went to like vacation.
Yeah, the Mayfield Mafia.
Yeah,
Stuff like that. Blowing a lot of cars up.
you know, laying low.
That dude, what's his name? I almost said fucking Scorsese. Michael Franchise. If you heard of him, he's just another one of these. You know, I'm always watching all the interviews and stuff, and just like the older gangster guys, all the old mobsters that are like Sammy the Bull and stuff, and they're just blabbing everything, which I think I've noticed about older people, especially older men. Is once they hit an age and they know their time is near, they just start blabbing. They start confessing the stuff they did, or maybe they thought they did or remember doing, and it's usually bad stuff. And so all these old mobsters are getting on these interview platforms, and they're just like blabbing and telling all these secrets and pretty much snitching, man. But anyway, so he's a guy, and he did a whole thing on the Cleveland Mafia and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're saying things of like where the statute of limitations have run out.
Yeah.
So they can't be liable for any of those crimes or whatever.
Yeah. Well, these guys have already snitched, so they're good to go.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
got out of prison from snitching, and
Yeah.
they got a lesser sentence because they snitched.
Yes, that's why they can go on these platforms and be like, yeah, I killed 20 guys and stuff like that. I'm
Crazy.
like, whoa, what?
Crazy. Like, yeah.
All you gotta do is tell.
Yeah, why aren't they afraid for their lives?
I don't know.
You figure if they were like that deep or that involved, like they would want to go like through like what is it that protective services or like
Protective custody.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of that in Colorado too. There's a lot of snitches and like runaways. A lot of people move to Colorado for that stuff. Colorado also has like the biggest like pedophile jail out there.
Wow.
So where do you think they go when they get out?
Boulder.
Denver. It's a bunch of them, bro. It's crazy. And they have that like Supermax prison that looks like a swastika and stuff, and like it's crazy out there, man.
It's
different.
Like, do you feel like so you grew up in Lakewood? What, like, you went to high school in Lakewood?
I went to high school in Oberlin.
Oh, okay.
I went to Lakewood High School for like 2 months, but I didn't really go to school much. I skipped school a lot, so my mom was pretty much like, "Yo, like if you keep skipping school, like send you to Oberlin." And I was just like, "Yeah, whatever, bitch. Like, do it." Like, obviously I didn't say that to her, but like in my head, I'm like, "Whatever. Like, what are you gonna do?" And then a couple months later, I'm packing my stuff, and I'm at Oberlin High, man.
Who lived in Oberlin?
So when my mom was younger, so I was born in Chicago, and then we moved to Boston. And when we lived in Boston, she was dating a guy named Joe, and he was in a band called Chuck, and they're pretty much like Black Maroon 5, way ahead of their time. Like even to this day, I really feel like if they were to come out like in the 2000s, like they would have really had a nice run and stuff.
Really?
It's good music, really good music. So she went out with him, and his grandparents, who are from Jacksonville, moved to Oberlin, and they're a professor and a Spanish teacher. And so I pretty much, honestly, bro, like pretty much from like 4th grade on, I barely passed like the year in school. And so I think my mom was able to finesse a way into me going out there and studying with them as like a summer school, you know? So yeah, it was his parents. So even when they broke up, that still was like my family and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And it was cool. It was cool, you know, because, you know, my father passed and stuff. That's why we moved from Chicago. And, you know, so it's all just been me and my mom. She had to work a bunch. She's only like 17 years older than me and stuff like that. So to be able to see like, you know, a married couple together, especially a married black couple, educated and stuff, was really good for me to see like, hey, like this is normal too, you know?
For sure.
So yeah, so they legally adopted me, went to court and everything.
Really?
And so, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever asked. How did your dad die?
He was murdered.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Was it Michael Jordan's dad?
It was Michael Jordan's brother. You know, I think you know,
You share a dad with Michael Jordan,
bro. I think I can ball better than his sons, man. His sons suck. Hope they don't hear that shit. But no, I the stories are different. You know, I got a version from my mom. It was like the mom version of it. You know, and then I have some brothers too, and I'm really close to my little brother. He's like a year younger than me, maybe. He's like 6'3" and shit. I'm like, how did this happen? You know, like,
It's that strong Michael Jordan genes.
dude, dunking on people. I barely can grab
the ball.
a rim. So I was like, I'll just play football instead. Fuck it, you know. And but so he told me that, you know, my father was kind of like into like some gang stuff, and that's kind of that happens. You know, Chicago's gangland, so I think there was just bad decisions and stuff, but he was really young, so I don't know. My mom would tell me how he like just like beat the shit out of people, and like he was like had a big heart, but he was a big bully too. So
I had a friend who, Anthony DeVito, his dad was murdered. He died in his car, onto like 50 to 70 different bullets.
oh my god, what did he
It
do?
was in the trunk. They shot him up. And
But what did he do to deserve it?
he was a mob. He was part of the New York mob.
Ah,
He was like an assassin,
oh wow,
and he didn't know that until he got older.
yeah.
And like he found out like he thought his mom. I think he thought his mom was his aunt for a while, and then his grandmother was his mom. And at one point, like he didn't know that like he like the older person that lived in the basement was his grandfather. It was crazy.
Yeah,
it was just like a lot of like, yeah, and he didn't know for the longest time until like he had like a cousin or somebody who knew his dad like move into their neighborhood, and then his mom had to like cop to it, like how his father died and things like that. But yeah, he got like they found him in a trunk and just riddled with bullets.
Damn, man.
So yeah, and he was he would like go away for a while, I guess, but he was
Do
like,
some
a very
hits.
sweet guy, but he had a I guess like a second life type deal.
Yeah, his profession was something else. I don't know that I've met any like hitmen, but I definitely had some friends that are like, if we go out, it's the nicest person ever, but what they do like on their own time is a little sketch, you know.
I don't go like that. My uncle Al, like he threw fish on the docks of New York. He was a fish thrower. But he always seemed to have a lot of money.
Yeah.
More money than a fish thrower.
You're throwing a lot of fish, Al.
Yeah. Well, you paid by the fish
a
or
lot
something?
a lot of fish.
He had like a nice apartment, drove a Cadillac, like suspect. And like he would say weird things like, you got to take the guy down to the fucking beach. He owes you a little money. You got to remind him he owes you money.
Yeah.
I'm like, what does that mean?
You're like, huh?
Yeah. Like,
I could just call him, I guess.
yeah. Like, what do you mean? Why'd you take him down to the beach?
What happens at the beach?
Yeah.
Fish throwing?
I guess. I don't know. This,
Maybe he should have moved to Seattle.
maybe he can't hear it unless there's waves involved. Like,
Just give him lead boots.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sure he's threatening him. Like, he always said like weird shit like that all the time. And it was like, even when I got brought when I was in that band and we did some shows out there, he came and picked us up in his Cadillac and just like went to drive us out to Coney Island to get some hot dogs. But Coney Island like closes at like 10 o'clock and it's like already midnight. So we get out there and I know it's going to be closed.
Yeah.
And he's like super mad that it's closed. I'm like, they close at like 10:30.
Yeah, you know this.
Right.
Uncle Al.
Right. This is nothing new.
Yeah. What's he doing now? Is he all right?
He passed.
Did he
Yeah,
pass?
Okay.
Of old age or of bullets?
Oh no, he had a heart attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
So natural causes,
Yeah,
not.
sort of.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But not,
Poor diet, I guess. Was
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Hey, man, that gets a lot of us.
Yeah. New York City, maybe. I don't know.
Too much pizza, too
Yeah.
much. I mean, there's a lot of food, man.
New York City, you can eat and drink something every 5 feet, but you can't use the bathroom anywhere.
New York stinks.
Yeah, New York's
It's stinky in there.
I love that. I love that fucking city so goddamn much.
Oh no, New York's great. It just smells.
It is smelly, but I guess it's part. From in my mind, it's like part of the charm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like motor oil and piss. I'm like, New York.
Give and take, man. Give and take.
But how do you like? I don't know. Do you think that like what happened with your dad like made you like, in a sense, like skeptical of people going forward, or like because I don't know.
No, I don't think it made me skeptical. I think it just makes you grow up a little faster. You know, because let's just like spitball here. Like, what age do you think where you really like understand like what death is? Like, where you really understand? Like,
For me, it was 8.
Yeah.
But I think that's really young. I would say probably like 13 or 14
Yeah.
is really when like most people understand that
Like,
there's
really get it.
mortality. Yeah.
you know, and obviously it has to do with like funerals and stuff too. But so at a certain age, I'm kind of looking around. I have more of a conscious, like cognitive skills and stuff like that. I'm kind of looking around. I'm like, people got dads. I'm like, where's my dad at? Where's my dad at? Like, what's
How old were you
Like,
when
what
you
the
piece those things together?
probably like 6 or 7.
That's funny.
Because I hang out with my friends and stuff, and their dads would be around sometimes, and I'm just kind of like, wait a second, like, what's up with this?
Yeah, who's this guy?
Yeah, like, why is this guy so nice to you?
You're
you
right.
know? And most of my family's women too, so it's kind of like it's not really that many guys around. And so then the awkward conversation comes up. Then my mom's probably waiting. She's like, eventually he's gonna start asking questions. So I started asking questions and stuff, and then I figured it out. And I think it makes you just kind of grow up a little faster because you're kind of like, oh shit, like this is like real life. Like this can happen to anybody. But no, I'm nothing skeptical. I think I think a lot of kids with single parents, even if their dad or mom is around but in a different house or anything like that, you still start to notice you're kind of like, when someone comes in here, like it's kind of like on me, and I'm like, it's just like 8, like you just said. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like,
Right.
Throw my 64 controller at him or something. Like, what am I supposed to do?
I remember distinctly like my dad telling me like, yes, like we all die. Everybody is gonna die.
You're like,
And I was like, what the
thanks.
fuck? Because my grandfather passed away. And I remember so vividly crying on the steps of that church to my cousin Autumn that we're all going to die.
What did she say? Was she comforting?
Yeah, she was
Or is she
comforting.
like-
Yeah. It was like, she was also like my babysitter all the time too. So
Guys got that bond.
we're still close. She's cool as fuck.
Heck
But,
yeah.
Yeah, I just remember distinctly having that thought, like, oh,
Yeah.
everybody I know is going to eventually die.
Yeah. I think I got lucky. I think it made me less sensitive to that stuff. Like even coming up, going to funerals and stuff. There's been a couple of funerals where I probably couldn't keep it in, but those are people who died like way too early. You know, if someone's older and they die, I'm like, well, you know, they lived a lot of life, and from what I've saw, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I usually can like keep it in, and I'm usually able to like work the room and be like very supportive without like breaking down and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also you have time to like accept that they're going to die.
Yeah.
When they're older or like they have a disease and it lasts a long time. Like my Uncle Mike, you know, when he got diagnosed with MS, it probably took him like almost 10 years before he died from it.
Yeah.
So by the time he had passed, we've accepted that fate. So
you braced yourself.
Right. And you know, but like then you have things like my Uncle Bob who got diagnosed. He got caught with cancer.
Got caught with
Yeah,
cancer.
he got outed with cancer. And like had to like tell the whole family like, oh yeah, I've got cancer.
Oh, so he was keeping it a secret type. Okay.
Yeah. And he got caught getting chemo by one of my aunts.
Busted.
Yeah. She works at the hospital and she normally doesn't go that route.
Yeah.
So he never thought like, they
crazy.
would have like any interaction while he's there getting chemo. But for whatever reason, she decided to go down that hallway to go get something. And she sees him I'm like, cause you just sit in the hallway while they give you like chemo through like an IV.
Yeah.
And like, she was like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, and he was like,
Nothing.
he was like, oh, I'm giving blood. That's why he's trying to get it. She was like, I can read the bag.
Like, I don't think this is. Wow. What a man.
It was
Trying
weird.
to spare people, man.
But then it didn't give us any time. Like, it was like 3 months later he died.
Yeah.
We found out,
Damn.
and 3 months later he's gone. So it doesn't give you enough time to like process it or accept the fact that he's gonna die.
Got caught.
Yeah,
I respect him though for doing that. Trying to like.
I think he should have told somebody,
Probably.
as opposed to just like not coming around, and like because it would be weird. Like he would miss certain like family gatherings, which would be very like odd for him to miss a gathering like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, oh, that's weird. He's not coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was strange.
Yeah. I can see in that sense it being a little aggravating, especially because you love him and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to give him some kind of man points from being like, you know, because maybe he thought he was going to make it. So he's like, okay, I'll keep it a secret. I'll just get this shit done with. And then
There was
I can pop out.
It was a little bit of that and a little bit of, I don't want to take attention away from my brother who has MS.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't want people to think that they have to now pivot to taking care of me.
Mm-hmm.
So they continue to focus on taking care of his brother.
Yeah.
Things like that. So I respect him for it for sure. I get his reasonings.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not like, I was mad at first because like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
you could have just
Could have
said,
told me, dog.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
have said, we just hung out like a month earlier.
Yeah.
Like we went shooting together.
Yeah.
And like, why wouldn't you just say something then?
Yeah.
So
That's deep, bro.
it was strange, but then like, you know, it doesn't give you time to accept the fact. So it's like, kind of like I don't know, what was it like when you found out your dad died? Like, or like, do you feel like the rug got pulled out from under you, or do you feel like?
I think I was young enough to kind of be like, oh, I don't know. I'm pretty aloof, so I'm kind of like, oh, okay, well, that sucks or whatever. But I was so used to living this way that I was just kind of like, eh. There was only a couple moments where it really like pissed me off, you know. But that was more like as an adult, you know. Every once in a while, growing up, you see somebody like, at a sports game or something, like hugging their dad. Sometimes that kind of like choke me up. I'm like, oh shit, But other than that, I always had like, I don't know, my family's so cool, and I have so much family that it really never really like fucked me up like that. So yes, I don't know. I think I was just it just like confirmed it for me. It just answered the question. So it wasn't this rug pull. It wasn't this super sad thing for me. It was just more, giving me more clarity of like always felt like I was different and had a different like upbringing and like that like confirmed that. It wasn't just me like feeling like I'm special. Like it was actually a different situation, you know.
To be honest with you, I think there's more to learn from women or what it means to be a man than you will learn from a male character of what it means to be a man.
I wouldn't know.
Because their perspective is what it means to be a man from the inside out. Where where women know what they want, like, or I guess like not want out of a man, but like they know what a man should be to women or to society in a more empathetic way than men would probably be.
I think a lot of the things that I've been able to learn from, you know, elders or other men are very important, but it's very like don't do that, dumbass. Like, do it like this, don't do that, and like that's it. But more of the empathy and the intuition and stuff like that, I've always been able to have, in my opinion, a leg up on that because I have so many ladies in my family. And like most of them, I mean, they're all like beautiful and they're like cool and they can like do stuff, like work, they cook, they're talented, they can dance, you know, stuff like that. So I've definitely had a leg up with that kind of thing. Because I'll hear stories about my buddies and their dads. And I'm like, oh, yeah, like I called my dad the other day. I got a raise. And he was just kind of like, yeah, and that was it. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, I guess I'm not missing that much, you know? Like,
there's in Curb Your Enthusiasm, I mean, there's a lot of examples of Curb Your Enthusiasm that reflect my life in a sense. But there's a scene where he gets home from filming and he's like away filming in New York and he comes home to Los Angeles and his dad breaks the news that his mom died like months earlier and no one told him, like there was a funeral and everything. And just because like, I guess his mom said to him, like, don't bother Larry while he's in New York.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something my father would do to me.
Yeah.
Like just not tell me my mom passed away because like she told him.
Yeah. Like just give him some time.
Yeah, just give him some time. Like, just let him know when he gets back.
Yeah. Yeah. So I could see that. I could definitely see that. I definitely, you know, I learned enough from my like father figures and stuff. I still have my grandpas and stuff like that. And they just like pretty much just put me to work, told me to stop crying.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like
that's about it.
Their advice is very like matter of fact. There's no like reasons why. It's just no, this is what you do.
Yeah,
and it's like you're almost like a pussy for being like, why?
Yeah, don't talk back, boy. You know, like, just fucking do it. But I feel like, you know, and you know, I don't want to get into too much like, you know, gender roles and heteronormative stuff or anything like that. But I really do think there's a lot of that as men. There's a lot of stuff where I think we should just kind of do it and just like. Don't question it too much. Obviously, if we're being like kind and stuff, but I do still feel that like duty, like as a man to like, you know, just keep everything under control and just like be kind and help out when I can and use what I have to like help people out and stuff like that.
Sure,
you know.
But that's just like being a human being.
Yeah,
so much as
but I kind of felt like I didn't need anyone to tell me that. You know,
no,
but, you know,
and you didn't. Like, there's like certain things as like. Just come inherent.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. When you hear some of these like religious right motherfuckers who are like, you know, we need to teach our men to be men. And you're like, oh, well, then I guess being a man is a construct.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
If you have to teach them.
Especially when you say it like that.
Yeah.
Everything's
gender,
like.
They're like, not gender, but like, yeah, gender is a construct.
Mm-hmm.
Sex isn't.
Yeah.
But gender is.
Yeah.
Like what it means to be a man could be a wide variety of things to different people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think it's kind of like, and sometimes, I don't know, men are just dumb. We're dumb creatures.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can be very barbaric.
Very, very simple.
Yes. We can be
very simple.
Like, must hit rock to thing in order to make it work for some reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, we're just idiots. We're like, a woman would like have like a whole system in place of why, that actually works.
Yeah.
So,
but I feel like that works to our advantage is guys to not, when it comes to getting certain things done, to not be able to be able to not overthink and just to have like the blinders on.
Sure.
And as long as it's like helping everybody as well, then that's awesome. That is true.
Sometimes thought is is the greatest enemy to progress on a project.
Yeah.
You can overthink things.
Oh yeah, and be your own worst critic. And I know as a stand-up comedian, I'm sure you've had plenty of times where you're just like, this joke is shit. This joke is shit. I need to rewrite it. This is trash or whatever. And then you go out there and it's actually people are actually laughing. You're like, well, maybe I didn't.
I mean,
thought
there's
too
been
much.
also the adverse of like, oh, I had a really good set, and then somebody comes up to me and is like, I don't care what everyone else's problem was.
Yeah, yeah. They just didn't get me.
Yeah,
just didn't get it.
like,
Bad room.
Yeah, like there was one time I thought, I was thinking to myself, like, oh, I had a pretty good set tonight. And a guy came up to me and was like, man, rough crowd. You were really funny. I don't know what everyone else's problem was, but I thought you were very funny.
You're like, thank you.
And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I thought I had a good set. I didn't think it was like that, but all right. Like,
have you been booed off stage?
No, I would definitely remember that. I don't know why it's like stopped to be like, oh, I wonder if I have. I would remember that moment.
Right. You definitely bombed though before. Right? Everybody bombs, right?
Oh yeah, I've bombed a lot.
Did you bomb your first time?
Oh yeah. But
is that normal? Is that normal? Because I have me and my mother have this weird like secret fantasy where like, I watch Kill Tony and stand up and stuff all the time. I'm like, man, I think I could do a minute. I think I'm funny in certain ways. Like, I think I could do this. But like, and then I hear stories from like you or like Dev and like other buddies who've done stand up, and they'll just tell me it's like horror stories where like, that 2 minutes felt like 2 hours up there.
My first time doing stand up, was at an open mic where you're supposed to do 5 minutes. And I had memorized, like I had spent so much time. I've never put so much work. I would say I probably pour more work into that first stand-up set than the 10 years of playing it, being a musician. Because I would like write it, rewrite it, move things around, and then to memorize it, I would say it out loud as I wrote it.
Yeah.
Or I'd say it out loud as I type it, or type it out, then write it by hand.
Did you like look in the mirror and like see how you look?
No, I didn't do that part.
No, okay.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that now.
No? Why not?
No.
Why not?
I couldn't face myself like that. I don't want to know what I look like.
Gotta face your fears, man.
Yeah, I just need a photographer to make it look like I'm doing something cool.
Can't put filters in the mirror, huh?
Nope. Yeah. Who has the joke where it's like, the mirror is how you see yourself, where a photo is how you're seen.
Oh.
How others see you.
That's pretty deep. I never heard that one.
I think it was actually Larry David that
said that. Okay.
That guy's my hero.
Okay.
But yeah.
Legend.
I put so much time into that first 5 minutes, and I got up and I forgot a lot of it. And it's kind of like boxing where like you don't know, like everybody, it's like how everyone has a game plan until they get punched.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
So I got up there, I had a game plan, but then I got punched.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, game plan's out the window.
Yeah. Like you told your first joke and then it was crickets. And you're like, oh boy. Like, like, what do I do now?
Smile and say more words.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I did. And then I don't even remember what, the last joke I said got a laugh. And that's when I was like, or just probably even like just a light chuckle.
Like, I'm a star.
It could have even had nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? Like maybe somebody was laughing at something else said, but that was enough for me to be like,
just took it.
I was like, I fucking love this shit.
You're like, yep, I was born for this.
Or not that I love a challenge. I love trying to learn new things, like that I don't understand. Like recently, I started working on scooters, like
the electric scooters, or like, oh, okay,
like a motorized scooter like that. Yeah. And so, just because I don't know anything about mechanics like that, and I thought you had to be like a mechanic in order to own like a scooter like that.
To own a scooter,
or like have a motorcycle. Like I thought you had to be like a licensed mechanic.
They're not gonna let you out. They're like, let me see your license before you buy this.
Because they're so unreliable. Like Harleys are the most unreliable form of like transportation of all time. They're constantly breaking down. They burn gas. They burn oil. They're smelly.
Yeah.
Like they're just the worst kind of
I'm
transportation.
not a big bike guy. The older I get, I start thinking about it. But I like when vehicles with walls and like
I just like
protection and
vehicles
stuff.
that run.
Yeah, that helps as well.
And so when I started doing some research on like, good ways to learn how to, a lot of people brought up like Vespas and scooters is like a good way to get like, the mechanics of it, because I hadn't ridden anything like that since I was a child.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm not even the one doing the driving in that situation.
Yeah.
I was riding on a motorcycle or whatever.
Yeah.
And,
I thought you were talking about like Razor scooters at first. And I was picturing you with a garage full of Razor scooters, like fixing them up, and your wife's like, "What the fuck are you doing in there?" Like,
I was like, these ball bearings are so small.
I'll be done in a minute, babe.
Tweezers.
You have like a jack for the scooters and shit.
So like I wanted to learn because I wanted to buy one and like ride one,
Yeah.
but I thought you had to like learn how to fix them up. And as it turns out, you don't really need to know much other than figure out what part broke and then replace the part.
Yeah.
It's really like kind of like plug and play when it comes to scooters.
That's what I've heard. But that with computers too, like it seems complicated until you know the pieces and you just kind of plug and play, like you said.
Yeah, piece breaks, put in the new piece from the piece that broke, and then it runs again.
Yeah. And if it doesn't fit, you just kind of jimmy it in there,
Right. Or like, but with motorcycles, it's a little different where like there's a lot of mechanics involved with it.
Yeah.
Where you can't just swap something out. Like you have to like prime it and make it do all this weird shit before you can bring it into the engine. And like, or you gotta like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Harleys are such a mind fuck to me. So I don't understand why anybody rides them.
They're
this point.
badass. That's why.
I mean, they are cool. I'll give them that much. Like there's some cool Harleys out there. If I ever bought like an actual motorcycle, I'd probably get like a Ducati or like
I don't know what that is. Is
Ducati
that like a crotch rocket?
No.
No.
Ducati, they have like some cafe looking like they don't do any choppers, but they have like cafe style bikes that like look a little more like a Harley, but they're like, I guess they're a little more like sleek looking in my opinion. They're not like they're
they're not like Aryan Brotherhood.
They're an Italian motorcycle.
Meth slanging bikes.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of style to it.
Okay.
It's kind of like Triumph. Triumph's another really great example of like Triumph is a very well-made motorcycle, but they probably focus a little bit more on like how it looks than how it functions.
More like a luxury bike.
Kind of.
But maybe affordable. I don't know.
Yeah, they're definitely a little bit more affordable than a Harley.
Yeah.
Or Harley is just
Harley, you're paying for the name, right?
Dude, that's all
More
you're
than
paying
anything,
for.
yeah.
Harley and Indian bikes are like the two worst bikes you could be out running right now.
I'm learning a lot. I don't know. I just like, hey, that looks cool. Like maybe.
But I knew nothing about it like 6 months ago. If you were to ask me anything about motorcycles or even Vespas 6 months ago, I'd be like, I have no idea.
Wait, so do you have a couple of Vespas now?
I have 2 scooters currently, both Piaggio.
Yeah.
So, which is the company that makes Vespas.
Okay.
So yeah, I bought an 07 Piaggio Fly 50 just to kind of like learn, like because I was older. I knew like little ticky tack things would break, but it ran when I bought it. But I knew things were gonna break on it because it's so old.
Yeah,
and I also wanted to learn how to do body work, things like that, and it was pretty like it was just stickered up, and like the stickers, like because of the sun, it like wore.
I get it.
Yeah, I got sun bleached and shit.
It.
So that's why I bought it, and so I fixed it up, and it looks really good and runs great. But like, the only reason I did that because I thought you had to.
Yeah,
I thought you had to learn these things before
now you know
own them. Yeah. So
do both of them run?
Both of them run very well.
Does wifey ride one too? You guys like go twin Vespa
I wish
riding?
she would. She's not interested.
She's like, nah, I'm good.
She hasn't even ridden on it with me.
No.
Well, the Fly 50, I couldn't have put her on because it's only a 50 cc, and it tops out at like 45 miles an hour. Like you're white knuckling it at 45. Like,
Yeah.
You're really pushing the motherfucker.
Yeah.
Where I bought a Piaggio Liberty 150. That one tops out at like 70 something, and it gets up there quickly. So it's not super fast, but it's quick, I guess, because it's so light.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't even ride on that with me on that thing. So I wish she would.
One day.
One day she will. She said after a year of me riding, she might consider it.
Yeah. All right. You're on the way.
Yeah.
You're on the way, bro.
I'm zeroing in on it. But yeah, I like learning new things, and I like to challenge myself to, like, you know, if I'm not good at something, learn at least enough to be acceptable at it.
Yeah.
I guess, in a sense.
Or learn enough to know that you're bad at it.
That too.
Right.
Yeah. Which, you know, in comedy, I guess it takes 27 years to find that out. So I'm like 20 years away from figuring that out.
You know what? You saying that reminds me of like when I watch Kill Tony and people come up there and they do really good and they'll ask them and they'll be like, oh, how long you been doing stand-up? They'll be like, it's my first time. And I'm like, I don't think I believe you guys. I think you're a liar. I think because if you say it's your first time, everyone's going to be like, woo! Like, but
some of them
I'm a
aren't
skeptic.
lying. And then they'll have like a good set on Kill Tony, and then the rest of their set shows.
And then they'll go somewhere else and just bomb it.
Well, they said, like, if you go somewhere else outside of Kill Tony, then you're gonna have to do more than 1 minute.
That's true. Yeah. And you don't get the interview and stuff after, and like they'll save your ass.
So, yeah. But then there's also people who've come through Kill Tony that are amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing in comedy right now because people give him a lot of flack for how people blow up on that thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. There's no... Comedy's just as like any other entertainment. Like, there's no rhyme or reason why somebody gets something or why they become successful at something. It just... You get what you get when you get it.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've put in enough time into the craft that you can meet those opportunities when they come your way.
Everybody will say connections and stuff like that, and that's important too. But the people choose, you know, who they want. So obviously, there's definitely some hacks out there in any kind of entertainment.
Sure,
they're definitely getting a certain kind of push, and I'm like, that's because you know so and so. But you know,
and I don't try to like besmirch any kind of those people because you know it's. We contribute to a very subjective art form. So what I think is funny may be different than what an audience might think is funny.
Yeah.
But as long as the audience is laughing, I've got nothing to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I get nervous when I go to shows like in Boulder because it's very super, super liberal part of Colorado and stuff. And some guys will go up there, some ladies will go up there and make some crazy jokes. And I'm like, ooh. But people are usually good sports and stuff. But, you know, different rooms for different people. But would you say there's like some kind of standard like writing exercise for writing jokes? No.
I think that everyone has their own approach to it. And mine's changed over the years. Like I used to write it out like every word verbatim. Now I'll just bullet point it and then try and work it out on stage. Like I'll put like what the topic is, and then if I have like any other like beats in there that I want to hit, then I'll write down those beats or whatever and bullet point those things.
I know it's a dim room, but are you able to see enough into the crowd and, you know, take your material and like analyze the crowd and be like, maybe I shouldn't tell these jokes here? Does that ever happen when you're like looking around? Like, I don't think this is...
What was I talking about? I was talking about what happens to gay people in July because
after Pride Month.
It's after Pride Month. I was like, what are they like? They have to go back into the closet like Christmas ornaments. And I had I went on for a minute and I got no laughs.
Oh, it's not going.
Going well at all.
See, that's why you got to move to Texas, buddy. They'll love that joke.
I know, right?
They'll love that joke down there.
And they were like, I was like, all right, well, never say that joke again.
Yeah.
And then that got a laugh, but. So they didn't hate me.
Yeah.
They just didn't feel comfortable laughing at it.
They didn't like that one. Yeah.
Or just didn't feel comfortable laughing about it.
Oh, yeah.
They maybe thought it was funny.
I think those things it's changing a little bit. Changed a little bit.
It was funny, but I don't think
people are
they were-
loosening up in general.
Yeah, I don't. Things aren't. I mean, oh, dude, what was I 2 weeks ago? I was doing this bit about how fun would it be to have like a parrot who said like all the shitty things that you would never say,
Yeah.
like or even don't even believe in, but Jewish space lasers, and you're like, parrot, why?
Oh, he's crazy.
Yeah. Bush did 9/11. You're like, parrot. Like,
Cut it out.
yeah. Or
I don't
like,
know where he gets this from.
Right. He spends a lot of time on Q.
Yeah. It's on Breitbart a lot.
He's on 4chan quite a bit.
It's a big fox.
Yeah,
Big fox. Fox guy.
Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson. So I I was talking about that for a minute, and that didn't really do all that great either.
I think I have a big enough imagination to think that's funny.
I thought it was
But,
funny.
you know.
I was having a great time, and I just didn't give a fuck. Like, I was having fun with it, and they were smiling at least.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm not pissing anybody off.
Yeah.
If I'm seeing somebody be mad,
Like,
yeah. If somebody's like irritated with something, then I'll move on.
yeah.
Like I can read a room that well at least.
Okay.
But if it's something that they're at least smiling at, but they're not laughing because it makes them uncomfortable, I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna see where this road takes me.
Yeah. I'm already here.
Yeah, I'm
Might as well
already
fix
here.
it,
Like,
yeah.
don't just abruptly end.
Yeah.
But-
They came for a show.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a show I shall give them.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got 15 minutes to fill, so buckle up.
I feel like 15 minutes up there feels like
It
forever.
goes by so quick.
Does it?
Goes by so quick,
All
man.
right. Because I feel like it's the opposite when I'm writing songs and stuff like that. I'll write like whatever amount of bars, and then I'll go back and do it on the beat, and I'm like, that was only 1 minute and 10 seconds, and I feel like I just like poured out all the like clever things I had to say that whole day.
I think it's much tougher to write rap than it is to write like dick jokes. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's even if I'm writing, because I'll do punk and stuff too, and I have more fun writing that stuff because I feel like it's weird to say that it's less strict than rap, right? Because rap's so
Sure.
fucking crazy, but like you don't have to rhyme, you don't have to rhyme as much. So it's like it's more like I'm writing like a poetry kind of thing, but with
Yeah.
rap I gotta rhyme the thing. So it's like I'm saying, even if the first bar is really cool, I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna rhyme with? The tapestry. Like, what the fuck am I gonna say, bro? Like, I gotta sit there and take a shower and think about it, and
Right. And then you come up with words that like aren't real words. But
yeah,
they do rhyme.
I
with
gotta,
them.
yeah,
Like Mappa Street.
yeah. I gotta get real urban and say something like a southern accent on it, or just like to like make it actually make sense. And it's just like it's
You're like, that's not even a real word.
difficult. Yeah,
But it rhymes, so I guess that works.
people even care half the time anymore, especially with rap where it's at right now. It's
You were the one who taught me that a lot of these people who go on like certain shows that they say that they're freestyling, but they're not freestyling at all.
no, definitely not.
Like they had this like that was material that they never knew what to do with, so they just burned it on that.
Yeah. Or they wrote it just for that. They might not have known like what beat they were gonna get or something like that, but they had their stuff ready, which is still impressive if you're doing it live. But it's very obvious if someone's freestyling. It's very obvious because it'll be stupid. It'll be dumb because they're just trying to think of things to rhyme with, and that's
quickly as
really fun.
possible,
Yeah. Like we were out in freaking like, I went to that Ola Tacos, with my boy, and we had a drink, and I asked him, I was like, wait, how old are you now? You're like 38, 39? He's like, no, I turned 40. And I was like, when? He's like, today. And I was like, oh, it's your birthday today. And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, we're getting fucked up then, And at the end of the night, somehow we ended up in some like Parma bar or something. We're all like on this patio and doing a bunch of other stuff too. And we're all just rapping, but we're actually freestyling because we're saying the stupidest shit ever.
That's
like,
awesome.
There's people over there like looking back, like, what the fuck are they talking about? I was like, straight off the dome, man. Straight off the dome.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that happens too in stand up where you're just like, I don't feel like doing material, so I'm just gonna go up and see what happens.
Yeah.
That
sounds terrifying.
That's fun. It's so like so. When I do the Secret Society shows, we have this spot called the warm up spot,
Yeah.
and it's my favorite spot because it forces me not to do material. Like it specifically, that spot's designed to not do material. It's either you do crowd work or you try and improvise. And I do like a little combination of both. And I had like one thing that I wanted to try, but I just never got to it because I spent so much time riffing on like,
on whoever.
On what, or no, just on like topics that would come up in the like, because one guy brought up the show The Boys.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, The Boys is just like Game of Thrones, but like with superheroes.
Yeah.
Or it's like it's mostly just fucking.
It's a lot
and
of
like,
fucking.
And like a bit based around like a loosely based storyline.
Yeah, a lot of assault.
Yeah, it's like a lot of
show.
sex and assaulting people, and that's all it really is. And then I got on a topic of like how House of Dragons pisses me off because it takes place 200 years earlier than Game of Thrones, and yet everything looks exactly the same.
Everything like super dark.
We're like, no, it's just like none of the technology is advanced at all. It's the same shit from Game of Thrones. It's like, has this society not advanced in 200 years?
They're scared. This is dragons and shit, man. Dragons and incest.
They keep, destroying cities, so they rebuild it. And
Yeah, I don't watch those shows.
Yeah,
I'm
starting to learn
a
plumbing.
weirdo. I just watch anime and like podcasts and stuff like
there's
that.
like little shit like that that would like bother me and like get me angry. And then I like next thing you know, I'm like arguing,
Scathing review.
or not even just like arguing with family members about like, why it makes me mad and it's not a good show.
Are you killing the vibe, dude?
Yeah.
You go there? Like, oh, here comes fucking Gem. This freaking critic.
Yeah, or
I can't get into those shows, man. I know if I watched a decent amount of Game of Thrones, but I only watched that with one of my exes. She just wanted to watch it. And it was over there anyway. So I was like, yeah, I'll watch it with you. But it's not my thing, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a hater.
I'm not I haven't even watched The Boys yet, so I have no opinion on it, but
I know the comic. Like, I know what happens from the comics and stuff.
But the show, I guess, is very different.
Yeah, I mean, I know they've changed a couple of things with like the Deep and like Black Noir and stuff, and like just like certain things, but it's pretty true.
Oh, is it?
It's pretty true. And then A-Train's different. Like, he wasn't a black guy before, but he really didn't say much in the comics. But he actually says a lot. So it's like one of the few times where they change the character up and it's actually better. You know, even
That's
like
good.
hardcore fans are actually we like this A-Train way better and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just like I like analyzing things because it's part of the job of being like a comic is like taking something and then analyzing the shit out of it until you can find that funny. It's like a funny scavenger hunt.
A funny scavenger hunt?
Yeah, you're looking for the funny.
Like a sleuth.
You're just like you have this like I guess this thread of thought or consciousness, and you just follow it, and hopefully you land on something funny.
Yeah, and hopefully a light bulb comes up.
Right.
And then now you got some material.
Exactly.
Right?
Which has happened before.
Yeah.
Like, there's been actually several new of probably the last 3 new bits that I have all came from that just talking, doing the warm-up spot. And something would come up that somebody would say that like I had a similar experience with. And so I just shared what that experience was, and it like had a punchline and everything in it. I was like, holy shit, that joke's done already.
Yeah.
Like
it wrote itself.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And I'm comic, so I'll add the punchline to it.
Of course.
But I really didn't have to change much of the story or the truth of that story much to make it funny.
You just had to add the timing, right? The
You just add the
comedic
punchline,
timing.
really.
Yeah.
The premise was there. The premise was good. It had all the meaty things that you want.
Yeah.
In a bit, and then the punchline was super easy to find. So, those are the jokes you really. Sometimes you don't get unless something jogs your memory of something that happened in your life, and you're like, oh shit, I know this experience, or I have something similar to what they're saying. And I told this story before, so I know what the punchline is.
Yeah.
So I know whatever happens, I know I have that payoff in my back pocket. So it doesn't matter where I'm going or how I'm saying it. I know it's going to lead to that punchline, and that punchline's strong. So I don't really care anything beyond that.
So okay, I have another question, right?
Sure.
You know, I feel like I feel like I'm terrible at getting interviewed. I always like go into interview mode. So stop me if I'm doing too much.
Oh no,
but
you're good.
I always want to ask because I'm very interested in trying stand up. I've been interested in this for a long time, and I don't know where I heard it. It was probably Kill Tony, but they were talking about like proper like dressing etiquette, like when you get on stage. Obviously, if you're like if you're like Bernie Mac or something, it's gonna be different.
Sure.
But if you're like coming up, you know, like to like wear a t-shirt and jeans, and like don't like wear anything too fancy or anything like that. Have you heard anything like that before? Is that like a real thing? Or like
sort of. I'm from the generation of you don't wear shorts on stage.
no shorts?
No shorts. That's
Okay.
like, yeah, in the bare minimum, a t-shirt.
Okay. Yeah.
So, no, like, tank tops, no, you know, you could wear, like, a sweater or something.
Dane Cook tank tops. I remember he'd wear those.
Did he?
Yeah.
So,
when he was actually funny, you know.
Yeah, but so that would be, like, a huge no-no as far as, like, my
They just start booing you.
upbringing of comedy. Like, but kids today, holy shit.
Those kids, man.
Holy shit, that came
Wow,
out.
old man. Yeah. Oh, what are you, like 38, bro? You like 46?
I'm 39 and a half.
39 and a half? You're counting down the days, huh? When's your birthday?
June.
June? Oh, okay. June when?
June 22nd.
June 22nd.
I just
okay.
turned
Yeah.
30.
Yeah, I'm June 10th, so you're
So-
a Cancer.
I am a Cancer.
Yeah.
I'm on the
Cancers
cusp.
Cancers hold grudges.
Do we?
Yeah. We hold nasty grudge. And he has deep eyes. It's like you're always looking through something. It's like, cut it out. Just look at me normal. Maybe that's why you can't look in the mirror. It's those deep Cancer eyes you have.
That's why I hate
I
myself.
think that's what it is. I think that's just
I have a
normal.
lot of things that I hold against myself.
I think
for
you,
sure.
you know, I've watched a couple episodes. I think you hate yourself more because of like religious backgrounds and stuff, childhood
Yeah,
trauma,
that's what
just
it
the
teaches.
norm.
That's what it teaches you, is to hate yourself.
Yeah. Well, you gotta hate yourself to love yourself is something nobody said. So
Sounded good to me.
Yeah,
though. I
yeah.
was like, you know what? That is true.
right? I said
was
that. I said that.
100% behind that. I was like, you know, he's right.
Wow.
Yeah. I never thought of it like that, but now that you've said it,
Deep. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I'm getting good at this thing, man. I'm getting good.
I mean, what? I don't know. Like, oh man, I wish you leave tomorrow night.
Tomorrow afternoon, like 4:45.
Next time you come to Cleveland, stay on a Tuesday because there's a open mic in Cleveland. It's Tuesday night. It's at Judd's in like
Shots.
it's over by like West 110th and Madison,
Okay.
like that area, or
Yeah,
West
yeah, yeah.
104th and Madison. Is
I
that
got
right?
you.
And they do an open mic there, and they have it's called One More Joke, and they have like the minute and a half spots
Mm-hmm.
that you could sign up for.
Okay. Just try to work something out.
That's why I always, anybody who's like, oh, I really want to try comedy or I want to get into comedy, like, what's your advice? I'm like, do that show.
Yeah.
You only have to fill a minute and a half.
Oh God.
Like, you could literally tell one story, and it doesn't mean you have to fill the whole minute and a half. You just have to do one joke.
Yeah. You just get up there and try it out.
Right. Your only really requirement is one joke.
Okay. I'm sure I'll puss out, but you know.
But I'm just saying, like, those are the kinds of like ways to, like, I guess in a sense, like, dip your toe in it.
Yeah.
Like, in a minute and a half, you haven't ruined anybody's evening.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And if I can that fast, then I got something going on.
I mean, there's
right?
been a few, but it's mostly because they were racist
Okay. Yeah.
or like.
No, you can
homophobe.
make racist jokes. They could be good, but that you have to be good at though. I feel like you can make anything funny, but you
gotta be
have to
clever.
You have to be. Yeah, you have to be smart about it.
Yeah, it's got to be an original
Yeah.
thought, and it's got to have a fucking punchline.
Yeah.
For Christ's sake, have a fucking punchline.
You hear that?
Man.
Have a punchline.
Holy shit! Like,
Can't
there's
just be
been-
like, black guys are lazy.
right.
Jews are cheap.
Exactly.
You're just like looking around for laughs.
I've seen it,
Yeah.
and it's wild. You're like, wow, that was what you thought was gonna get
Yeah.
laughs.
Or you're doing
Because
like
then-
or you're doing like rape jokes and stuff. I'm like, bruh, like you got to be a genius to pull this off. Just so you know, like good luck.
At the very least, have a fucking punchline for
Yeah.
people. Like, say, oh my god.
Yeah, you gotta like kind of trick people and like think you're gonna go this way, and you're like actually making a good joke. And
Right. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
there's good rape jokes. They're just very difficult. Like you need to be the victim. They forget that part. And
more
you
like
need-
self deprecation,
Exactly.
right?
and it needs to be sweet and innocent.
Yeah.
So like how you got raped needs to be like playful and sweet and nice.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, they butt fucked me.
People be like,
And you're like, in your head, you're going, bow, 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 bow.
yeah. You're like, I'm about to kill tonight. I'm about to kill this room.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Oh, okay. Well, then here. Okay. So this is what I would think I would do if I was going to tell a story. So again, I'll ask you to, what do you think is the proper age for a child to be completely potty trained on average?
I have no
Should we
idea.
look
I don't
it
have
up?
children.
Well, you were a child at one point.
I think it's
and you were
five? 5 or
6. Let's just say it's 6, right?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I was having problems at like 9. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I don't know what it was. I don't know why. I don't know if maybe I was just being lazy. But I used to have a lot of nightmares and a lot of lucid dreams and stuff. So I have so many dreams where, I'm at the park and I'm just going pee, wake up, piss in the bed. I'm like, fuck, like I'm grounded again. Like I'm about to get messed up. And there's no way, I'm too young to like figure out how to like, I'm not going to wash the sheets and like get away with that.
Right.
Stuff like that. So one day my mom's like, hey, if you don't stop piss in the bed at your age, like I'm gonna make you wear a diaper to school, right? And I tell a lot of people about this, and they're like, "That's kind of fucked up." And I'm like, maybe, but it definitely stopped me from peeing in the bed after that. But I still remember that day I had to put that diaper on, and you got to think about like 5th grade or whatever. Double file lines. Everyone goes to the bathroom together. You're on recess. You got gym class, all that type of stuff. You know how hard it was to go through that whole day with nobody touching me and get like squish sound or anything? Like if I had to go to the bathroom, I'm going to the stall. Like, oh, just use the urinal. No, I'm going to the stall. Like if we're in a line, nobody fucking touched me, bro. Like no one touched me today. And so I was able to go through the whole day with nobody touching me, nobody hearing that squish.
Mm-hmm.
But my coworker is just like, well, why don't you just take it off when you got to school? And I was just like, I didn't fucking think about that.
You'd be free balling it.
I would have been less stressed out because if one, you know how ruthless kids are. If one person would have touched me and heard that the squish sound, it'd have been over with. You know what I mean? We're little boys are roughhousing.
Well, and we probably wore pleated pants back then.
There's some corduroys
So,
probably.
like, they already have the
You know what I
puffy
mean?
bottom.
I probably picked a very specific outfit for that day. It probably has like some cool FUBU.
That's a great premise.
Yeah. So yeah, that wasn't the joke, but I was thinking if I tell like a funny part of that story, I think that would probably go over pretty well.
No, that's a great joke.
Yeah.
It just needs to find the punchline.
Yeah.
Like what's the punchline to that would be like, I still take too long in the bathroom or something like that.
Yeah.
Like after a long time.
Yeah. I can't even look at Depends when I go down the aisle or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's your Vietnam or something.
Yeah. So something like, yeah. So I was like, maybe I'd tell the joke about that. Or something like crazy like that. But especially at that age, because like wrestling was super hot then, it's all like spearing each other and like suck it and stuff like that. We're all hitting each other. And I'm like, it's gonna be a rough day at school, man. Like, I'm not fucking with anybody today.
How about do the don't touch me?
Yeah. Seriously, like I'm in line. I'm like, don't even. Not
you know
today,
what
bro.
really hurt?
Not today.
If you gave me space.
I should have just took it off and just like threw it like in a bush or something and like pick that bitch back up, threw it on real fast.
Like,
But I never went to bed again.
Like,
Say that.
And I still can't let go of that diaper.
Still have it.
Yeah. Just a reminder. You should
Man.
you got it bronzed and framed. You know how like some people get their shoes?
Yeah.
You did that with your diaper.
A mold.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it's like finding that little like punchline. Like what's the punchline to it? Like I think that's a great premise for a joke. Like everything you said was great. It just everything you just told me had a punchline to it, that's your joke.
Yeah.
That's a great joke.
I'm gonna work on it. work on it.
And that's honestly I don't know. So that sometimes the hardest part is the punchline, or sometimes you start at a punchline and then you got to figure everything else out. So
yeah, because I
everyone
know
has their own process.
Yeah, because I know I'm decently funny, but I'm not funny in like punchline way. I'm funny because I'm just reacting and telling people what's going on,
Sure.
and they're like what the fuck, like what are you
Right.
doing, you know? And I have so many rapper stories and like just from the interviewing and stuff. Some of these guys start thinking like they're my fucking friend and like stuff like that. And
Yeah,
like,
your rapper stories would be great.
oh my god, I've only had I've had like, it's not real beef or whatever, but people like, I don't really take money. I will take your money for sure if you want me to like expedite it, but I usually just do it for free because eventually I'm gonna cloud up and get paid. I don't need your money to get paid to do it. And I've had guys like, oh, interview me, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Like, but I'll get to it like when I want to do it.
Sure.
Because I didn't reach out to you.
Right.
And I don't want to tell them like I actually think you're like a terrible artist at this point. Like, I think you're bad. Like your music sucks to me. But I'll still interview you. It'll still be fun.
Right.
And, and it's like I'm giving you a chance that no one else would. All the other platforms are more honest. Like you suck or you don't have the money. Either or, you can't get.
Crazy to me that they charge them for the interview.
Oh yeah.
Like that is fucking wild to me.
Oh yeah. Well, it's promo. You got to pay for the promo.
I mean, you're also making money off the content too. So it's like, how am I to come there and give you content or give you like a source of content?
Right.
And then you're going to charge me for it?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're all artists.
But that's a very musician's way of thinking about it. Right. On the other side of it, because it's like, because I'm doing you a service, because you're paying me for my time because I'm looking stuff up about you, and I'm also not making you look cool like you're not already cool, but I'm coming from that angle where I'm like, oh wow, this guy does interviews with all these types of artists. He's interested in you, so I should be too, because he's interested in stuff like that. So, but I definitely, because that's the problem. I've had issues with guys because they either get mad that I don't do it on time or that I ask for money, and they get super pissed. And I'm like, well, if you don't want to do it, go somewhere else. Oh, nobody wants to interview you, so I guess you're fucked at this point. If you were like that awesome of an artist or an act, you would draw traffic to my pages and stuff like that, and I would be honored for you to come through. And it also works the other way around. A lot of the guys who do interviews, they play that game where they get an already established act, get them ask the same fucking questions as everyone's asked them, but it's going to bring in views because people want to, see that famous artist. I don't do that. I like underground artists because I like to control all the content, and I'm more interested in that kind of like real estate. Like I'd rather have interviewed all dinosaurs when they first started, and then say you guys like blew up, and then I have the interview before you have all this PR training, and before you have to be PC and stuff, when you guys are fucking drunk and just talking shit and you're broke, piling into the stinky van,
right?
Shit, like stuff's going wrong. Like I like those interviews. I don't want to sit there and be like, yeah, like what do you think about Diddy, and like,
right.
I'm not interested in that. I'm trying to like actually figure out who you are and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I still don't take money often. But if you're giving me a time, like I need to do it in a week, then I'm like, all right, you gotta pay me, bro. Like, cause I'm not like, I don't want to do it, to be honest with you, but I'll do it like in a week if you give me some money.
Yeah.
So, and I've had guys like threaten me.
Yeah, I mean, in comedy, that would be unheard of.
That's a no. Yeah.
You don't charge people to come on your podcast.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
we usually do trades.
There's also like, there's certain people you will have on. Like we kind of did that with Secret Society for those shows. Like, we literally like go to clubs and try and poach the headliner to come do 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And, offer them like $30-$40 and a couple of drinks. Like not a lot of money, but it's all money we have.
Yeah.
And some of them are cool about it. They're like, yeah, I'll come do, 5 minutes. That's all I need.
Yeah.
I don't care if you do 2 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I didn't have to. I wish money wasn't that important, Like,
right.
But I gotta drive. I got my equipment. I gotta do all that stuff. It's like I'm at least trying to break a little more even, so I don't have to work a regular job anymore.
Which there's more. I'm getting more out of it than they're getting out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, they get to work on material that they weren't able to work on in a club setting because they're getting paid tens of thousands of dollars to be there. Where they're at my thing, where they're getting paid $40 and a couple drinks.
Yeah.
And they're going to try new material out, but I get the photo opportunity.
Yeah. And then, and I bet it, I mean, I feel
Mark
like
Norman's done our show. Like we've had a lot of like, Paul Reiser's done our show. Like, TJ Miller's come and done our show. We've had big comics just drop in on our show. Michael Longfellow, who's on SNL, he dropped in recently.
I've heard a lot of comics actually like those shows better than like their big, shows with it. They rather just go into like just kind of a underground kind of place, and just like work it out. Like it's more fun to them.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the level you're at too. Like, somebody like Mark Norman, like for him, he's like him going underground is like doing hilarities, where it's like a 200 to 400 seater.
Yeah,
because he's so used to doing anywhere between 4,000 and 5,000 seaters.
Yeah,
so yeah, that's his version of underground. He likes doing those types of road gigs.
Yeah.
But Mark Norman's also very generous with his time. He's very, he gives back to comedy. And that dude has the strongest work ethic I have probably ever seen. That guy is never not doing stand-up.
Yeah. Constantly on the road.
Not even that. In New York, he does 2 or 3 spots a night. So Monday through Wednesday, he's
immersed.
Yeah, he's constantly doing spots. And then he'll go on the road. And then he'll do at least 2 shows a night on the road.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then he'll pop into shows like mine and work on new material for the next night.
And that sounds all. I would like to be at that level where I'm doing 2 interviews a day, or I don't know, 1 a day or whatever through the week and stuff, and being able to get paid. And so then,
Norman's to a point where, like, if we tell other comics, like big headliners, like, oh yeah, Mark Norman's dropped in on our show, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, we know.
They're like, that's what he does.
That he's done that every other small show in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, and sometimes people give him shit for it, which is wild to me that people give him shit for it.
I could imagine his managers probably like, yo, like,
it's not
cut it out.
It's not even his managers. It's other comedians that give him shit for it because Mark, a guy at Mark's level, is dropping in on their show. Now they think that everyone's approachable.
Ah, okay. Or maybe they think he's taking a local guy's spot. Because if Mark comes through, like, someone might get bumped.
Yeah, but that's I was bumped for Mark Norman on my own show.
Yeah.
And I did not give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's
I wouldn't care either. But like, this is great.
Comics like his peers, or like let's just say for the like what's his name? Or it's like Sam Morril. You know who Sam Morril is? Mm-hmm. So we've reached out to Sam Morril before. I mean, like, hey, yeah, like Norman's done our show before, and he was like, yeah, I don't care. Like,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
old news.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
Like, that's what Mark does, but that doesn't mean like I'm gonna go and do that too. So that's what. That's why people give him shit, because now, like, somebody of his peer or his level, equal level or whatever. Mm-hmm. Now guys like me who
status,
you're a 25, 40 person room, I'm emailing him and calling him, saying like, hey, come do my room. Doesn't
that kind of prove that he like loves it, right?
Oh, 100%. And he shouldn't stop. Like, he doesn't realize the contribution he's making to stand-up comedy that will give him like longevity.
Oh yeah.
Beyond he'd be one of those comics that could literally murder somebody in the middle of the street and people will still come out and see his comedy.
They're like, yeah,
he murdered
it's Mark. That was their fault.
Yeah. He didn't get his comedy.
Yeah. It was their fault. It was a bad room.
Yeah, bad room. The guy was talking shit. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of talking shit, is there like a you ever been to like any events or like venues or whatever, like in like comics or like beefing and like throwing chairs and hitting each other with bottles and
No, I've never
throwing
seen
hands,
that before.
or are they just catty?
Very catty.
Yeah, like that guy's
If you're
not,
beefing
that guy's
with
not
a-
as funny as me.
It also depends on the scene. Because like more local scenes, they might have beefs like that. Where if you're in a major city like New York City or Los Angeles, you're gonna avoid those beefs
Oh yeah,
at all costs.
yeah,
Even if you fucking hate that person, you're gonna at least be cordial to them
yeah.
in the room because you don't know.
Yeah, now especially West Coast. I don't want any problems West Coast, man.
But you also don't know who you're talking to. Like you could be talking to the next big comic that's about to blow the fuck up, and you were just an asshole to him.
Yeah,
And so
Now you're
you just squashed a bunch of
blackballed.
opportunity. Yeah,
yeah.
you just squashed a ton of opportunity. So there's a little bit of incentive for everyone to be nice to each other in New York.
Okay.
Not to say that people aren't. I think New York is probably the most tight knit, large, like major city community out there. And one time I said something stupid, where I asked a comic like, "All right, well, like, where's the next open mic?" And the kid goes, "Pick a direction,
Yeah. Anywhere.
wherever you want to go,
Yeah.
whatever borough you want to end up in. Odds are good. There's an open mic happening."
Dream come true for Jem over here.
I would be doing a lot more comedy if there was a lot more.
You gotta convince Em to go out there, man.
Well, that's
Have you already said her name on this podcast?
who?
Your wife?
Miranda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I didn't know. I don't want to say her name if you didn't.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
don't mind.
Yeah, but you gotta convince Miranda to go out there or something. Does she like New York too? Maybe or
Oh, she can't.
I know she's real low key. So
She can't. Her life's here. She owns a business here.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, you can own businesses and live out of state.
We've talked about it. If I had an opportunity where I found myself in New York or the job was in New York, I'm able to move there.
Yeah.
She wouldn't follow me, but we'd work.
At least
it out.
not right away.
Right,
Yeah.
right. We would work it out. Like we wouldn't ruin the relationship or anything.
Yeah.
It was just we just figured different things out.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like I'd come home every other weekend or something. You know.
Yeah. It's really not that far.
Right. And so I treat her like my stepchild.
Yeah. she can get your stinky ass out the house
Yeah.
every once in a while, you
Every
know.
other weekend, husband.
Yeah, add a new spark to the relationship.
I mean, we don't see each other much now. I mean, she's busy with her business, and I'm busy with, stand up or filming something, or I'm always on the move.
I think it works out better that way. Like I cannot stand being in a relationship where like my girl is just all over me all the time. It's always home. I'm just like, because I know there's so many like insecure guys that are like I'm never letting my bitch leave, like crazy stuff like that. Like they don't want you talking to anybody. I'm the opposite. I'm like, get out. Like just don't get in trouble or anything. If you need me, like I'll pick you up or I'll Uber you or something.
Sure.
Like go do something. Because what are we gonna talk about if you're just home all day? Like, or we're just doing the same thing. Like, what are we gonna talk about? We're gonna start getting each other's nerves. Like,
that's
go
when
live your life, bro.
Real fights happen where like
Yeah.
our fights are like, hey, can you do this thing? And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
That's our fight.
And then you're like, all right, you figure it out.
Yeah.
That's easy.
And then when we do get to spend time together, we're like legitimately excited. To do
Yeah.
something.
And you have stuff to talk about, and you actually, I can't miss somebody if they're always there.
Right.
I can't. I don't want to get in a crazy argument. Like I'm going to the garage to fix my Vespa up.
Or you're trying to make space
Yeah.
between the person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I also who was I talking to recently? Like, if you're ever in a relationship and you think to yourself, "Guy, I wish I was single," get the fuck out of that.
Yeah. You might want to get on
the
out.
fuck out of that relationship.
I had a buddy, I'm not going to say his name obviously, but I had a buddy say something like that to me when we were hanging out. And I was like, I don't know. I think it may be more of like a wandering eye type of thing, So we'll say the ladies out here are, it's okay, I don't want to be mean, but in comparison to Colorado, like, it's way better out here, just aesthetically. The chicks out here are way hotter, bro. Way hotter.
I did not expect that.
I know. I'm telling you though. But I'm in Colorado. I'm like,
Thin
ugh.
air.
It's that freaking altitude. See, there's no good food so no one's thick. You
Yeah.
know. No, seriously though, like it's way different. It's way
Little
different.
mouth breathing bitches out there, 'cause
Dude,
there's
and
thin
I'm not
air.
even a fickle person at all. I have eyes, and I'm just like, this is kind of interesting. And I come back, and I'm like, damn. Like I was in Heinens the other day.
Well, that's where
It was wild.
Which one?
Like Rocky River,
You gotta go to the Chagrin Falls Heinens.
bruh. There's babes in there.
Chagrin
babes.
Falls Heinens is. And Chagrin
it
Falls
on
everybody is good looking in Chagrin Falls.
I think my boy moved up there. He escaped the Clark neighborhood. He's living up in Chagrin now, I think. Yeah.
Everybody's attractive in Chagrin Falls. It's wild.
I'm telling you. How's got some lookers for sure. The dudes are butt ugly though.
That's true.
Butt ugly, bro.
Unless they're from Chagrin Falls.
Yeah.
They're slightly less butt ugly.
Then they're chads.
They were
Yeah.
like, yeah, they just have money.
Not everybody can be studs like us, you know.
That's right.
Phew.
Which,
I gotta keep them off me.
That's why I get mad when Megan Thee Stallion called hotties for Harris. I was like,
Oh
what
my
the
God.
fuck? That's not inclusive. What about us uggos out there?
Well, you know, it's all about how you feel on the inside. You know, you gotta feel like a hottie on the inside.
Well, we're fucked there too.
Yeah.
So
What do you think all my friends, not all, but most of my friends and acquaintances are very liberal, and I'm like secret conservative. I just like kind of like try to stay away from it because I don't want to hurt their feelings. I'm like, oh yeah, man. Like anything lefty, I'm just like agreeing. I don't want my
That'd
friends
be
to hate me.
hilarious.
People are so sensitive about it. I don't want to like ruin their time or like have them thinking I'm like just something I'm not. You know.
you're like, yeah, gays shouldn't get married.
I'm like, yeah, conversion therapy. We need to bring that shit back. tenfold.
Tenfold. I guess they remember that guy who's like, I'm not gay no more.
Yeah, I ain't gay no more. I like
women.
I like women's.
And
Yeah, he's lying.
Yeah, he's gay again.
Yeah, you don't stop.
Yeah.
You don't
Apparently,
stop.
I found that out on Saturday. I was like, that is fucking hilarious.
He didn't even say it like a straight guy either.
know.
I'm like, bruh, we love you. It's okay.
You were very frustrated while saying you like women.
Yeah, like
I've never seen anybody so angry about the fact that they like women.
like you don't. It's
You
okay.
don't. It's all right. It's cool.
More for us, man. Don't waste their time.
Right.
You know, because they're gonna think it's their fault. Like, why does this guy not like me?
They take it upon themselves. You
Yeah.
know?
Why is he always commenting on my makeup and stuff? Like, unless you're Prince.
Well, he's always asking about my makeup. And
Yeah.
stuff.
Why is stuff missing?
That's what would be the conservative.
Yeah.
Like, why is it? Yeah.
Well, the conservative just gets a hotel room, you know, and
They
leaves
shut down
and
Grindr.
leaves.
They
The
shut
dating
down-
app?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, during the RNC in Milwaukee, Grindr collapsed because of the traffic.
Oh. Okay. I misheard
The
that.
RNC
Okay.
came into Milwaukee, and Grindr in Milwaukee crashed because of the amount of traffic.
And now, I don't want to be too judgmental, but it's like it's still wild to me that in 2024 you would have to be like closeted, because there's so much support. I mean, and also we're from Cleveland too, so it's super open here and stuff, so it's really not that big a deal. But sometimes I'm like, why are you hiding it at this point? Like, there's so many people
also,
that are
too,
cool.
I always
as
assumed
F.
Grindr was like the most, like, had the most integrity of platforms, because I'm sure no matter where
Really?
Grindr is, it's the most popular app in that, wherever it is.
Okay.
Or there's just a lot of people on it.
You know,
There's a lot of activity.
yeah, and I mean, and that's not fair to some of the gentlemen too. If you're hiding it, and maybe that's hot, you know, if they're like, yeah, like this guy's got a wife and like sneaks and sees me, that's hot, but that's really messy. That's really freaking messy. And I had not. Actually, I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised at
I
all.
wasn't surprised. But it is shocking to hear that there's still people who are closeted.
Yeah.
And
Now, maybe if they're older than us, and they come, you
Which I
know,
only
they're from the
assumed
80s or whatever, or 70s.
Well, they're also probably a right-wing politician.
Yeah. What was the dude?
Who was like platform is to make sure gays don't get married.
Remember who was the politician that the cops were called and they opened the door and it was him and the dude had like the hammer or something.
Oh, that was
and
Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't.
What was up with that?
He was.
Or was that like some cuck shit?
No, he was actually a very sick man.
Oh.
It's kind of a fucked up story. The way they painted that whole situation, and like he has prostate cancer, and because of that, he can't hold his bladder. That's why he was wearing a diaper. And he was murdered by somebody.
Oh,
Broke
okay.
into their house who were there to kill Nancy Pelosi, who wasn't even there.
Oh, okay. That's totally different than what I thought was going on.
Yeah.
Well, they give you these clips now. They give you this 20-second clip, and now, the dumbest thing to do is to jump to a conclusion. But that's all you got me, or all you gave me. So I'm like, they were doing some freaky shit in there, bro.
Oh, right.
Why'd you open the door?
I mean, it's plausible,
Yeah.
but I really don't think so.
Yeah.
Because he nearly got murdered.
Yeah, that was... Okay, we'll throw that example out the window there. We're not gonna... That one doesn't count. Never mind.
He's
Sorry,
also
Mr. Pelosi.
a Democrat.
Yeah.
So if he were actually gay or like bisexual or like had some sort of kink like that, we don't give a shit.
It would be a little easier to just be like, yeah, this is what
he's
I'm about.
in San Francisco.
Yeah. It's pretty easy out there.
Yeah, he's cool. He's fine.
Grinder's doing very well out there.
Yeah,
Sure.
Grindr is thriving, my friend.
Yeah.
And so like I don't see that being like a cover up for like Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Yeah.
He has got probably the best setup possible if he were those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't see him like trying to hide that. So
sick. Gross.
Ew. Diaper daddy.
Gross.
But you're probably like, I can relate.
I was like, well, I mean, I've been there.
Yeah, I would have taken the diaper off.
I should have gave him some advice. I'm like, you could just take it off, bro.
Yeah, you could.
Just take it off.
And that maybe he was wetting the bed.
I also, you know what? I also don't like the stigma that's attached to dating apps, right? They're like, oh, it's a hookup app and it's just for this and that. And it's like, well, if you think about it, think about other places you go. You go to the gym to do what? Work out.
Right.
Right? You go to work to work. And I've met people at work too. You've met people at work. Yes.
You've probably gotten your job online.
On the line. And it's like, okay, but we don't like make fun of those things as much. Oh, I hooked up with someone I met at the gym. Even though I was supposed to go out there to work out. I hooked up with someone at work. I got with someone at work. I was supposed to be there working and concentrating, but this girl looked good and I started looking that way, right? So why don't we have the stigma on top of that? Because I'm on a dating app to date.
Right.
Just put it out there.
I agree. I couldn't agree with you more.
Bullshit. I have a big problem with stigma.
The stigma is ridiculous because it also takes like both parties to go and sign up for that app.
Yeah.
They were given all the information as the other person of what that app is.
Yeah.
And yet they still are on it.
Yeah. We're as close to being on the same page as you possibly could be.
Right.
When it comes to intention as far as dating. I don't ever go to these other places planning on getting a date. If it happens, it happens. But
right. And that's the same thing that goes on with the apps, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You get on the app in hopes that you get a date.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different than everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
You're just out there walking, hoping you get a date.
Yeah. So it's at Heinen's.
Yeah.
Heinen's and Target. That's the spot, fellas. Got to look in their car and be like, oh, yeah.
That's where the fresh bitches hang out.
That's what I'm saying.
How do you feel like, I guess bring it back to your dad. How do you feel like your dad's death or like has made your relationship with other men change? Or do you feel like it has an effect on like...
No, I mean, I think maybe when I was younger, it probably was a little more difficult to take direction from another man. But I don't think that lasted very long. Yeah, probably maybe a little, I don't know if like hyper aggressive is the word, but like a little more combative then I would have to assume somebody with a loving father. It was, they gave them and stuff.
But
yeah,
do you feel like it's helped you be more like, I guess in a sense, like give you like critical thought and questioning things that come your way? Like, you just don't accept certain things at face value because of that fact?
I think as goofy as I am, as much as I play around, I'm generally a pretty serious person, and I think that's definitely affected that type of like thought process. Like I definitely have empathy for people and stuff, but like I know when something's bullshit. Am I gonna go out of my way to like argue and debate with someone about their beliefs or what they think is true and stuff? Probably not. Probably not, because I don't want to ruin a relationship over something. We agree. We could sit here and have political debates about stuff, and I'd be on a different side of a lot of things than you're on. But that's one or a couple of things we disagree on when we agree on so many other things.
Right.
So I think in my soul, in my heart, in my mind, yeah, it's made me a bit stern for sure. But, I'm not trying to I'm out here trying to make a bunch of amends and stuff, because we're all shitty in our 20s. Not all of us, but a lot of us shitty in our 20s and stuff.
I was definitely shitty in my 20s.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of stupid, irresponsible shit. And the only thing I can do now is just not be that person anymore and change behavior and stuff like that,
Which is the only kind of advice and things you could learn from women.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like, you're not going to learn that from men.
Yeah. And
it's men are like, stand up for what you believe in and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you should pick your battles wisely
Yeah.
and learn to develop and learn new things. Like,
we're not all a freaking war general or
try and understand somebody on their level. Like, even if you don't agree with it.
It's good to have that manly pride and stuff. And it's good to have a certain amount of that, but sometimes it gets too crazy and it turns into like an ego problem,
For sure. For sure. What a deep last question to ask.
Yeah, man.
Where can thank you for doing this, by the way.
No, I freaking every time I come out here I have like some freaking family drama and stuff. I was supposed to be on here like 2 times already, like before, but something crazy happens all the time, and I'm just like, I can't do this podcast right now. I'm just gonna bitch about my family the whole time, and like, I don't want to do that.
That's what the podcast is all about.
Yeah, well, warm up for next time.
Yeah. The next time you come back into town for family drama.
Yeah.
Where can people find you on social media?
Just look up The Low Road. On Instagram, it's just The Low Road. TheLowRoad with an underscore. And then on YouTube as well, just The Low Road. And then Facebook is The Low Road Interviews. Same thing with SoundCloud too. So everything just The Low Road. And I stopped using my government name. I used to do that a lot because my last name's Northern. So I was like, yeah, cool last name. But I stopped doing that. So
you have a cool name.
Yeah, thank you. But it was actually getting rough using my government, because it was like, like some credit cards stolen and like goofy stuff. Yeah, goofy stuff like that.
That happened to a friend of mine recently.
Yeah. Too. So yeah, The Low Road on everything. On Twitter, it's all caps BFD and then Lake. So Big Fish Dirty Lakes, like another nickname I have.
Nice.
I'm not really on there. I just kind of like retweet stuff. But if you want to like get at me for interview or anything like that, just Instagram's probably the best way to get to me. I'm pretty active on that.
Cool.
Yeah.
As always, you can send your nudes to at Gheramy _Demery. Also,
or The Low Road.
Or The Low Road, yeah. And then also make sure to check us out on secretsocietycomedy.com or on Instagram at Secret Society Comedy. Figure out where we're at next. Also go to at Casket Comedy on Instagram.
Yes.
And figure out where those shows are at in Columbus, and make sure to follow the Attic Comedy Club, who I'm also now I guess in bed with. Check out what shows are going on there in Columbus as well. Other than that, I think that's all I got to promote right now.
Yeah, man.
That might be some time before this comes out, but thank you again for doing this.
Yeah, man. Of course.
Appreciate you.
All right.
All right, buddy.
Yeah. I'll be back.